Hello, everyone, and welcome to Layer by Layer, the show where we talk about what we're up to here at Slant 3D and what's going on inside the industry as a whole as far as it pertains to mass production 3D printing and designs of the machines themselves. As stated in the title, this video has nothing to do with the A1 Mini. We did not clickbait you or anything else, we simply told the truth. But we told the truth in a very specific way, because there's a funny story about this. Last week, we released a podcast that got an inordinate number of views. It was quite above average for one of our podcasts. And the only difference between that podcast and other ones that we've done is that in the title, we said the Bambu Labs A1 Mini. We mentioned that word in the title. Not really intentionally, because that video was not about the A1 Mini either. We were talking about how people have been asking us to review or talk about the A1, and we said, no, we don't review machines on this channel, and we don't, and we're not going to. But having that in the title got so many more views to it, to where during the content meeting this week, we were talking about it, and we were like, well, that really helped. So we're going to go ahead and see how we can kind of game the system a little bit here while still being honest with you guys. We're never going to put clickbait up that is untrue of take a look at this amazing thing that's not inside of the video. We want to avoid that. But we're going to say things like not the A1 Mini, not the Prusa machine, not whatever it was, just that kind of stuff, not a flamethrower. And do that because having that keyword in the title does really help the video. But while we're doing that, while we're messing with it, the podcast is kind of an experimental video where we get to mess with the content format or the title format and that kind of stuff. And we don't really care about the number of views for these videos, because these videos are for you guys who want to come along for the ride and hear the story and kind of get the behind the scenes of what we're doing, like this story. So they're not view getters. They're just here for folks who want to know more and do kind of deep dives and stuff. But anyhow, so we're going to keep on doing that. Secondarily, though, that video was interesting for two reasons. The first reason was it got a lot more views. The other reason is that we had way more bots in that video than we normally do. And it was very clear they were bots. They were and the reason we know is because they were commenting things like, "Thank you so much for this honest review of the A1." We didn't do a review. There was no review in there. "Thank you so much for doing this in the community. More people should give information about the A1. Your wonderful review was great." Again, didn't do a review anywhere in the video. "The A1 Mini is way too expensive compared to the Prusa." I was like, oh. Bambu Labs is a Chinese company. For them to employ a click farm to interact with YouTube videos mentioning their products is kind of expected. But for Prusa to do the exact same thing, to have these two little spammy propaganda bot click farm people sitting in a phone farm interacting with each other, is hilarious and terrible all at the same time, because that is very clearly what is happening. A group of people employed by Prusa are going out trying to bang the A1 Mini. A bunch of people employed by Bambu Labs are going out trying to promote the A1 Mini in the comments. And obviously it must work, otherwise they wouldn't do it. I don't generally consider the comments to be that much of a swayer in what I think about a product. Like if I watch a review, I watch the review. I don't care what people comment about in the comments for a review. It's not part of the discussion. It's like that person is the professional. The commenters are some random person or bot. But do let me know how often the comments kind of sway what you think about a product, because I never really considered them that heavy outside of just social and community engagement. But it's just really funny that video, by having the word the A1 Mini in the title, brought both so much more traffic, which was probably largely bots, but also so many direct commenting bots in the descriptions, which was so odd. But really, really, really funny. Because you can go back, you can look at the video, you can see them in there, and they're really, really obvious. And I don't know how many people like responded to them and that kind of stuff, but they're leading comments. So it was funny to watch that happen. And it's just hilarious to see kind of this drama between Bambu Labs and Prusa, because people made the good point in the comments of the video last week when we talked about the A1 briefly, that it is directly responding to Prusa, the Prusa Mini. And I hadn't really thought about it that way. I'm like, yeah, it's like the Prusa Mini, but who cares? Bambu Labs doing their own thing. But I think you're probably right. I think the A1 Mini was created directly to just gut punch Prusa in their next core product, because the Mini is a low price product that looks exactly like the Prusa. They didn't have to do a cantilever design. You can make a super cheap one that's not cantilevered. I think Bambu Labs is kind of using the Prusa brand to directly compare against, in order to have their new technology create a better product that looks exactly the same, behaves exactly the same, and has multicolor on the side of it for the same or less price. They're trying to take it all. And as far as I'm concerned, good on them. That level of competition of just no holds barred, take over the whole place, is a very high-tech, startup-y kind of an attitude that hasn't really existed inside of the 3D printing industry in a long time. Like true Silicon Valley style scale competition hasn't really been part of the industry. We've been very slow and methodical, and this sort of disruption is really, really good. Now, following on that story, here's the thing, just real quick. We're going to talk about Filament, the Etsy app, and a change to Filament format, another modification to our master plan that we just came up with recently, but I do want to get into this a little bit more. The Bambu Labs Prusa kerfuffle. Bambu Labs has their Maker World website that came up here, and Prusa blocked them from having links inside their accounts. This, again, is a very kind of historically common action. So like Airbnb got started because they would put Airbnb listings on Craigslist. And a lot of apps would generally post links to their app inside of the links or comments or descriptions of other apps. So like designers post their Patreon link inside of My Mini World or wherever it happens to be. So this has been around for forever. And almost every single site prevents links to competing sites. So like inside of Twitter, you can't link to Facebook, and inside of Twitter, you can't link to whatever it is. And My Mini World won't let you link wherever, so on and so forth. Any company that is on their game will prevent traffic from leaking out to competing apps. Bambu Labs made a very user-friendly way of transferring from printables to Maker World, as they should have, because they're trying to get users. Prusa shut them down. Prusa is totally allowed to do that. Bambu Labs is also totally allowed to try. But in this story, Bambu Labs is so masterfully creating the narrative, controlling the story, to where Prusa looks like a dick. Should we believe that? That might not. He looks like a jerk. I shouldn't do that on the podcast. That might be non-YouTube friendly, even though we're several minutes in. But anyway, Prusa looks like the old guard who's trying to protect everything they had. After Prusa's been so open source and so maker focused and everything else, Prusa is now the old mean company who's preventing progress by wanting to close source their slicer, because Bambu Lab built their slicer on top of Prusa's slicer. So Bambu Labs got to stand on the shoulders of giants. And now Bambu Labs is taking their designers, and Prusa wants to keep their designers on printables because that's valuable. But Bambu Labs is like, come on, good competition. Who has the better product? Stop trying to put your thumb on the scale, which is a really good way for them to position themselves. I don't know who's right. I don't care. I don't have a dog in this fight. But the corporate, I have to deeply respect the corporate execution of the Bambu Labs team, both in the deployment of products and how they present it. Because you can believe them or not believe them. You can be a cynic or an optimist that they're pushing the industry forward by creating competition, or they're just pegging themselves as a competition first kind of company while absorbing the whole industry themselves. Prusa most definitely has always been the marketing leader, and now they are not. And that is sort of funny. But I'm going to get myself in trouble with all kinds of people. But again, we don't use Bambu Labs. We don't use Prusa. I don't have a dog in this fight. But anyhow, all of that is funny to me. This is good drama. And the industry never has good drama. The Stratasys 3D Systems thing, that wasn't good drama. That was just silly. This is cool because this is chess stuff. This is fun. But that's enough about that. We spent 10 minutes on Bambu Labs and Prusa and stuff. It's going to be fun to continue to watch. But Bambu Labs most certainly has kicked Prusa in the gut so many times here and continues to do so. And most definitely plans to continue to do so. But I don't know. It's funny to watch. Feel bad for Prusa, but they've had 5 years of non-contestation on the MKS3, and now they're paying for it. They didn't innovate fast enough. They didn't keep enough pressure on themselves. Bambu Labs is coming out with a new product every 4 to 6 months, and and Prusa comes out with a new product every 3 to 4 years. Meh. But anyhow, let's see here. Filament update. Okay, here's the thing. First of all, thank you so much who made filament orders. They're being produced and packed right now. The plan is to have them shipped out by October 6th. Something could catch fire or go wrong. We're trying to hit that, make sure that we're all on schedule for that kind of stuff while managing all of our clients and our core part of our business. But we're going to ship that on time, and we're working as hard as we can to get it done. Myself, I'm going to be running overnight helping pack spools here with the night shift here. But anyhow, had a question for you. This is something that we want to do because this is one of those little small improvements that only give you like a 5% benefit that are very easy to do, but no one has ever done. This is a 1 kilogram spool of filament. This is the standard spool everybody uses, the standard size of spool that everybody uses, and exactly 1 kilogram of filament wound onto it. Here's the thing. You see how high those lips are on the outer side? You can put quite a bit more filament onto this spool. You could probably add another 1/3 to 1/2 kilogram because it's the outer edge of the spool. There's a lot of volume there. I think the reason this has never been done, this has never been fully filled, is because the pricing of 1 kilogram for whatever price is very clear. It's like, $20 per kilogram, $15 per kilogram. In our case, $10 per kilogram. But if you say you have a 1.5 kilogram spool that costs $30, it looks like a spool that costs $30. The communication of it has never worked. So everybody goes for 1 kilogram. A 1 kilogram spool costs $20 or $30 or whatever it is. We don't like this because this is a waste of shipping volume. We can put more filament in the box and get it to you guys. So when we re-release filament again, when we get back into full flow here, we will be releasing a full spool, wound as tight as we can possibly get it, which helps us in a couple of different ways because rather than weighing, we can actually do it volumetrically of like how much filament goes right up to the outer rim of this thing. It's very easy to measure to ensure that the total amount of filament is on there. And allows us to ship more filament in the same volume of box on the same spool. It also helps you guys because you don't have to change your spools over so often. You have a 1 kilogram spool that has like 1.5 kilograms on there. So like for the Bambu Lab AMS, you end up getting like 6 kilograms of material loaded up rather than 4 because we fill out the spool completely. So we will be doing this pretty darn definitely. Please comment down below your support. That would be fantastic. Because we think that it's just been a marketing communication problem of making it clear. This is a problem that we don't have because you guys are watching this video right now. That was a long explanation to say that we're going to be more efficient and give you more filament for the same cost per gram as anybody else, but you get more filament on the spool. It will be more expensive to purchase a single spool, but it has more material on it. And that will decrease the overall cost of the spool into all the filament, everything else. It's an improvement that can decrease the cost of a spool of filament by 50 cents. But it's worth it. Because now we can put we put 3 spools in a box right now. That's 3 kilograms of material right now. We could basically change that to it'd be about 4 kilograms of material in a box then, 4 to 4.5 kilograms of material inside of a box, which would ship for basically the same price, even though it's heavier. It's the same volume, so it'll be pretty much the same. We're number crunching on it, but this is just silly because this is the standard 1 kg, and this is what could be put on the spool. There's a big difference right there, and no other company is doing it right now. And within our goal of trying to just decrease the cost of filament, this is stupid because you're wasting shipping, you're wasting space on the spool, and you're wasting your time because people have to change over and load more spools. So there's more labor in it too. It's just terrible all the way through. So we're going to bite the bullet and assume that you guys are smart enough to understand how to do the conversion to find out that, oh, we're selling a $20 spool, but you're actually getting 1.5 kilograms on it or something like that. So it's like $15 per kilogram plus savings. This is something that we think is worth doing. So on Tangled Filament, when we re-release again, we will be doing a full spool, a fully filled spool, because it just improves the efficiency overall. So that is one of those things that we've run across here because we were looking at them piled up here while we were running through it all, and we're like, there's a lot of space left on the spools. Why can't we fill that up? And it's like, it's not 1 kilogram. And I'm like, we could save like 100 spools and give you guys more. It just, everything gets better if we just put more stuff on a single spool. It optimizes so many parts of the value chain without having to do anything else. It's literally us doing less makes everything better. And it's awesome when you can find that. Delete a stupid action, which is changing over the spool too soon. Change over the spool more slowly. So that is the thing. That's kind of the update on Tangled Filament. We have the shipments coming up and getting packed. A couple of small delays on it, but right now we're still on schedule, so things should be good. The new extruder is still having some teething issues. But it's working. But we're having to use our other extruders to kind of make up for it a bit and use some other options to make sure we're staying on schedule. But long term, it should all be fine. Let's see here. The filament update. Yes, the A1. Yeah, filament as a whole, all in good shape. Etsy app. Thank you, everybody who signed up for the Etsy app. The Etsy app is our attempt to try to give everybody here during the Christmas season access to our print farm. So that you can basically go from 10 machines to 1,000 machines by just plugging in. With the Etsy app, a number of people have shared feedback about it. And again, we deeply appreciate that. We have like a bug report button on every page of any new app that we launch, just so that everybody can give us feedback immediately and really easily. There's been some weirdness with the formatting on different mobile phones. So we're working through that. We're trying to add a little bit more feedback on it because folks have been confused. Right now, it was designed to be very clean, quick, and easy. But when you simplify stuff down, there's some information that ends up getting omitted. So like when you sign up for, when you match a product to a file, that product is now being sent to us. That is the agreement action to have us start printing and shipping your parts because you matched a part that has a quoted cost next to it to your file. That connects your store to us. And we could go through and put 3 more layers of interchange on that, but that's really irritating for people who run large Etsy stores where they have dozens or hundreds or even thousands of products. To have a silly little confirmation message through every match is really irritating. Long term, we'll try to get like a CSV import kind of an option on there, but that's on the other side of the scale to where it's not very helpful for the guys with one part. So we'll be releasing more features and improving it over time. Right now, it's perfectly functional. Just know that once you connect to us, it's connected to us. We did need to refine some of the disconnect features because what everybody's been doing is they've been trying out the app, and we didn't anticipate this. We forgot the fact that everybody would try and play around with the app rather than use the app. So in trying it out, there's like, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, this kind of a thing. That we didn't build enough functionality in for. So we're going to try to improve that here over the next few days to a week. And the guys should be pushing those updates here real soon. But that will improve the Etsy app and get it up there from the main pieces of feedback that we've got. A lot of it has mainly been like mobile formatting. Because, just different phones have been throwing different weirdness on there. So we've been making the mobile optimization more robust. because we also kind of designed it intentionally as more of a desktop app than mobile. Because how many of you all have your 3D models on your phone? That's that's just the question that we had. We were like, no one's going to do this on their phone because it's cumbersome. But a bunch of folks have been using it on their phone. But the orders have been going out. It's going pretty well. Yeah, getting used to the new flow of the influx of new orders. It was a really good response. So we're making sure everything's shipping on time and stuff. If anything goes wonky, please let us know. But as launches go, there's some bugs to be fixed, as there always are with new apps, but it's going quite well. We should have, the dev team is working on a couple of different projects. A couple of them will be released probably in the next month to 6 weeks. That might be useful to you by Christmas, but we expect them to be more useful for like new apps in the new year. But it's actually getting, some things have been cracked that are pretty darn interesting. The guys have been doing a great job on that stuff. Besides that, update on our content schedule. We alluded to this a bit last week that our schedule would be changing. Here through basically the last quarter of the year, the Christmas season, our cadence of videos is probably going to decrease to about 3 core videos per week with a podcast. And then in December itself, it'll peter down to like maybe 2 videos a week with podcast. Those videos are mainly designed for 3D printing. So subscribe and like for those. The design for 3D printing videos, and then a few real 3D printing stories and a few broader kind of tests. There was a new format of video that should be coming out after this podcast. Or no, it will come out already. It should actually be out like a day or 2 ago from when this podcast is published. Do let us know what you think of that. It's a new type of testing video. And go watch it if you haven't seen it, because it looks really cool. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was really nifty to do, and it looks really, really cool, and is really insightful in a bunch of ways that like even we didn't kind of expect. It turned into a piece of R&D, even though it was meant to be a piece of content. And we love it when that kind of stuff happens, because it's a really insightful and useful video, because it was information that like even we didn't really necessarily have. Alrighty, well that's pretty much it, guys. Comment down below topics that you'd like us to cover. As always, we're always looking for more design for videos. The ones coming down, we've heard you on hinges and lids. We're gonna try to do those. They're just kind of hard videos to do because the design of those is fairly intense to do a print in place like hinge or something well. So that's a little bit iffy, but beyond that. Everything else should be pretty much set to go. Let us know features, parts, styles of pieces that you'd like us to look into more, and we will get those quoted now, or not quoted. I've been working with a lot of clients lately. We'll get those filmed and out for you guys. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much. It looks like we're going to hit 50,000 subscribers here real soon too. So we'll have to do a celebration of some sort when that happens. But thank you all so much for watching, and let us know if there's anything else down in the comments that we need to cover. And of course, as everyone says, like and subscribe so you can watch all of our other videos that are not this long and much more interesting very often, but not nearly as behind the scenes. Have a great day, everybody.